The 3-2 Rams head to Baltimore to take on the 1-4 Ravens. Jeff, it still feels so shocking saying that record out loud. Welcome back to the BetCanada channel. Katie Caldwell, Jeff Lloyd here with you today. Let's break this one down. So, Jeff, with the Rams coming off the loss to the 49ers, is this an obvious get-right game for them?
I would think so, and we kinda sit here right now, and we don't really know what to make of the Ravens, you know what I'm saying? As far as, who's in, who's
Yeah.
out, and it really seemed odd last week, because I did reach out to a couple Baltimore people, and, there were a couple of guys who didn't play last week for Baltimore that, basically came up as a little bit of a surprise that they
Mm.
did not play. So maybe the theory was, "Hey, look, we're just so dinged up we'll just sit everybody and hopefully, everybody's ready to go next week," or was the, I'm not going to risk them because if we're missing Lamar and we're missing this, maybe we don't have much of a shot anyway. Who knows?
Mhm.
But you look at this 1-4 Ravens team, and again, I agree with you. Just saying 1-4, like the Baltimore Ravens and Cleveland Browns are both 1-4 in the bottom of the AFC North. One of those things
Unreal.
I've kind of been used to over the years.
Yeah.
One of those things certainly is bizarro world, and there is just no
Yes.
question about it. But Los Angeles, you're doing no favors. I don't care that you're banged up. I don't care that it's not going well for you. We're 3-2. 4-1 is leading our division. Everybody in the AFC West is kind of rising their games right now, except for
Mhm.
maybe the Cardinals who started hot, and it seems like maybe their game is kind of falling down just a tad bit right now. But the Rams, you're coming in, and the first thing is you're looking at this Baltimore team and going, okay, well, it doesn't seem like you can get after the quarterback because your top guy in pressures is out for the year in Justin Matabikwe. Your
Mhm.
second guy in pressures, for some reason, you felt it was a good reason to trade him away to the Los Angeles Chargers. So you really that was something that was certainly a head scratcher there. And then the other thing is, if I'm the Rams, I'm going into this. Well, your secondary, a lot of them missed time last week. A lot of them are dinged up, and I'm coming in with Puka Nakua. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm the Rams right now, I'm coming in and, I'm looking to do everything I can, and it's not necessarily a statement game. I think
Mhm.
I can come in here and I can win this game. And as quickly as I sneak into Baltimore is as quickly as I want to sneak out with this W, knowing that you may have gotten the advantage of taking advantage of a team, basically with their slip up, certainly men
Mhm.
down. So if you're the Rams, I mean, this game probably looks a lot more appetizing this week than it probably did when you originally got your schedule in March.
Oh, big time. It looks a lot different to us as the viewers too. I still can't believe it. So the Ravens have obvious issues on offense, especially without Lamar. Their defense has surprised me though. What's going on with them? Cuz and I understand they have injuries, but they've dealt with injuries before. This doesn't feel like the same defense we're used to seeing in Baltimore. Where's that Ravens toughness we're used to?
Oh, I think a lot of it's just not the same. Even when Roquan Smith went down, I watched every second of the Baltimore Ravens and Cleveland Browns. That was week 2. And my biggest takeaway was, I mean, Roquan Smith looked good. He looked out of shape. I mean, for a guy who always was thought to be a little bit of a smaller linebacker, I
Yeah.
mean, me and some of my other Browns, guys who do coverage, there were some jokes going around. Well, give the guy a break. He's 3 months pregnant because that's what he looked like. He looked like he was 3 months pregnant. It
This
was
is one of
weird.
the
You saw a
guys I was
belly.
thinking of, is even when
Yep.
Roquan Smith was playing, it wasn't the same Roquan Smith I'm used to
Yeah.
seeing. So even when a lot of these guys, before they were injured, it still has looked different to me this year in a bad way.
Well, and I think that and it's not even maybe, certainly Roquan Smith is a big name, but one of the guys down there who kind of rules that defensive roost for Baltimore is Kyle Van Noy. It's with his
Mhm.
play, it's with his actions, it's the professional that he is. And, Kyle Van Noy has been the guy, when there's been plane trips who's usually yelling at Marlon Humphrey to put his phone away. No, nobody
Mm.
wants to be on your Instagram live, what I mean? Those type of things. And without a guy like Kyle Van Noy, who is certainly a good player, but is also a guy who probably going to be, in whatever field of football he chooses to go into after his career is going to be extremely successful.
Mhm.
When you lose a guy who is, 100% business and about, old school and doing everything the correct way, that's one of those ones where, basically, mom's away, the kids will play type of thing. And I think Baltimore, and again, we're talking about Baltimore, and for years, it was always, they were just so balanced. They were so good on defense. Offense was so good. But now you're hoping that the offense can cover up for a lot of the inconsistencies that the defense is
Right.
bringing. And with, Lamar dinged up and Lamar going through, his hamstring injury, and, no offense to Cooper Rush, everybody wants to be the backup quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens because you figure you never actually have to play.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, because I mean, the offense isn't built for a Cooper Rush. Well, I want to
I
get to
think it's
100 yards
built
on the
for
ground.
more for a Snoop Huntley, if I'm
Yeah,
honest.
probably. But I mean, if you're Cooper Rush, I'm not giving you anything with my legs. So Lamar gets you 1,000 a year. That aspect is gone. So guess what? Even if we're going to run the ball, Derrick Henry, who's struggling as it is even in more trouble because there's no capability of me faking it to him and keeping it myself. That's not going to happen. So Lamar and the threat of his legs, which was certainly something that was aiding Derrick Henry's production, now
Mhm.
basically just kills two things. You don't get Lamar's production with the legs. Derrick Henry is certainly not involved and has not been involved except for one 30-yard run 2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. Baltimore, I'm not sure if it's gonna be something where getting healthy is going to fix it,
Mm.
because that defense and, you're 1 in 5. If you are 1 in 5, that is impossible to come back from,
Yep.
even if it is the AFC North. But Pittsburgh beats the Browns this week, they're at 4 and 1. If Baltimore loses to the Rams, you're 1 in 5. So that means not only do you gotta sweep Pittsburgh, you need a mountain of other things to happen. I mean, talk about getting late early, it's getting
Oh,
late
yeah.
early for the Baltimore Ravens.
I totally get what you're saying. I hadn't really thought about that with Kyle Van Noy. That does make sense. I get what you're saying about when mom's away, the kids will play. But then where's the coaching staff in there? Like, how much of this does fall on the Baltimore coaching staff eventually, especially defensive coordinators? Like,
Well,
I'm still just
now
so
the
shocked
second
by
week
it.
in
How
a
much of
row
this
this is
does
the
fall?
second week in a row you brought this up about John Harbaugh. And look, there were a lot of people that were surprised that when McDonald went to Seattle to take over as the head coach, that it was Raheem Orr who was basically given the gig of defensive coordinator.
I was a
So
little shocked
certainly,
too.
yeah, there were a lot. There were a lot. There were other people there just as deserving. And so I think there's, certainly eyes there now on Raheem Orr. And look,
Mm.
in his defense, if Kyle Van Noy isn't here, if Roquan Smith isn't here, if Hamilton didn't play last week, I mean, what do you want me to do if I don't have everybody? I can understand that. I can. But when a really good team is in a situation where things are going pretty badly,
Mhm.
sometimes a move is made just to basically, basically let it off of them 80 in the locker room. Everybody's awake now, right? Everybody's paying attention, right? Yeah. Made a change. Defense coordinator's gone. So, I mean, you would think that's certainly a possibility. I don't think they're gonna change anything on the offensive side of the ball.
No,
I don't think Mr. Harbaugh, who's been there for 2 decades, is going anywhere anytime
I don't think so
soon.
either.
But if they're trying to rattle a cage or 2 and you look at this team and you try to figure out which one is the side of the ball that is, lacking, it is certainly the defense.
Mhm.
And, Raheem Orr could become, a casualty, not necessarily a deserving casualty,
Mm.
but the poor play of his defense, could basically get up, have him maybe, catching some shrapnel.
Quick pause. If you haven't subscribed to the BetCanada YouTube channel, you can do so below. It's free and it helps support our channel so we can keep bringing you NFL and NHL content. Now, back to the show. You brought up Puka Nacua earlier. He has just been one of the great stories for the Rams this year. And not that I'm shocked. Him and Stafford just have such good connection. How big of a game is he in for this week? It just
Doesn't
feels like his ceiling is unlimited.
doesn't doesn't I mean, there's honestly, it got to the point, and it was 2 weeks ago against the Colts, where I think the Colts just didn't even know what to do anymore. So basically, they were just having a cornerback just play trail on him. And it was like, look, I'm going to let him be 3 yards in front of me. And hopefully, by the time he has the ball, I'll tackle him. Because they had no answer. He was poking everybody off the line of scrimmage to the point where it was just embarrassing. Pretty much got Xavier Howard to say, you know what? I'm done forever, retired. Literally
I'm out
happened.
of the NFL.
Yep. I mean, the only other one was I remember was the guy from the Bills who quit at halftime, who retired at halftime. No, 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 no. Vontae Davis.
Oh,
No, no, no. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. No, but for Xavier Howard, that was, well, if this is how wide receivers are moving nowadays, I am just not doing this anymore. But, Puka, there's just no answer for him right now. And the thing
Mhm.
is, when Puka is of perfect health, and, last year certainly was a little bit of a struggle, and, they had other issues on the offensive side of the ball as well, where guys were dinged up. But when Puka is right and Puka is healthy, he is just a smart intellectual. His footwork is absolutely incredible. There's footwork he can incorporate into the simplest of routes that other guys just can't. I mean,
Mm,
he can make a 10-yard out just look like poetry in ocean, and there's other receivers who just can't do it. And the separation he creates,
yeah.
and everybody, oh, he's so great after the ball. No, well, he puts guys in a blender. He's sometimes got 4 or 5 yards of separation. Of course, he's going to pick up yards after the catch. There's no one in the vicinity of him. Truly a special guy. And everybody talks so much about Jamar Chase and the triple threat last year, winning it all at the wide receiver position. I think there's a legit and probably a sure chance Puka Nakua could chase that this year.
I couldn't agree more. I love what the Rams do with their receivers because look how good Cooper Cup was there too. They're such an exciting team, especially on offense. I have the Rams winning this one. I don't really see a world where the Ravens do. Do you have the Rams?
I would have to believe that everybody and their brother is healthy and 100% come Sunday. And if that was the case, then maybe some of these guys would have played the previous Sunday. I think the Rams go in there and, Sean McVay is going to look at a wounded animal and say, we are just going to take you for everything we can. We're going to get the W and we might not even change. Get on the bus. Let's get to the airport and let's